Alright guys, we finally made it out here to our new homestead farm. You see that's part of our house in the background. And the new chicken coop. Alright, so I know that that's probably what most of you guys are following right now, is the chickens. So just a quick update. We're exactly 4 weeks in. Just to recap, we bought day-old chicks at our local hardware store. Happened to be Ace Hardware. It is, like I said, 4 weeks in. The breed that we bought was Rhode Island Reds. We've been feeding them Purina 1 medicated start and grow. And so we started off with 12 chickens. 4 weeks in, we still have 12 chickens. Fantastic. A couple of things that we changed, I'll show you as we go along. Fortunately, this coop right here, I'll switch cameras and show you guys. Okay, I'm trying to make this video a little bit short. We're going to go over the coop and the nesting boxes that I just built, and this area, usually called a run. I did not build the run, full disclosure, because if I would have built it, I wouldn't have used dog wire. So the coop is original to the property. We rented the property with the coop already on it. This was built by somebody else, and they were obviously having some predator problems. Because, yes, that is fence lattice and barbed wire. I would have just, replaced the wire. It's got these panels on the side. I'm guessing just to keep the wind from coming through. Because they had a bunch of sticks in there for the chickens to roost on. I took 99% of them out. The only one that's left is there. And that's my little ramp up to my coop. And you can see some of the chicks are in there. That's a standard feeder, 15-pound feeder. Everybody's familiar with those. The water is a little bit different. We'll get to that later. So, there's my guillotine style front door. It's got just enough room on the top of it where I can put a automatic chicken coop door opener. Moving to the sides are made out of 1/2-inch pressure treated plywood. If you're going to build this, the material list is going to consist of 4 sheets of 1/2-inch pressure treated plywood, 6 2x4x8s, 1 box of 3-inch long ceramic coated deck screws, and 1 box of 2-inch long ceramic coated deck screws. And it just depends on where you get it from, how much it's going to cost. Now, only thing that's not included in that materials list is this nest box. But I had enough leftover plywood that I could have made this nest box. Adding to the wood materials list, you're also going to need 4 hinges and what are they called? Security latches. You'll need 1 security latch, and this is what I mean by a security latch. It has this little tab you have to pull down before it'll let you open the hook. Okay, this is the nest box. I kind of free cycled this from the previous one and then had to jerry rig some dividers. You'll notice I've got it blocked off right now. the chicks aren't old enough to start laying yet, so I just put a piece of plywood across the openings for those nest boxes, and they're not filled. So, moving right along. Push that down. So, general construction is 3 floor joists cut at 4 foot exactly, which means you'll use 1.5 of your 2x4x8s. These legs are made out of one complete 2x4x8 that's cut on the top. The scrap pieces are used as the supports for the nest boxes, and you have one 2x4 that comes across and butts up to this. So your other 2x4x8 goes here. You have a 2x4x8 that goes here, 4 foot long. You have a 2x4 4 foot long, not up but laying flat right here, and a vertical 2x4 by 4 foot here. Another cross brace here, you can see part of it going from the top. The last 2x4 that needs to be cut the same length as the interior is used as your roost. I have one roost here, right here, lower, and I have a second roost here, higher. You saw the 2 hinges on the nest box. Your other 2 hinges are going to be for this panel right here. This is your clean out and access panel that I just left open with a screw. Still working on a latch for that. And there's my brooder and nest heater. This is the inside, what it looks like. There's your 2 roosts. Okay. And there's a Producer's Pride chicken coop and brooder heater. I recommend those over a red light, because a red light burns your chicken coop down, basically. So many stories of chicken coops getting burned down because of the red lamps. This is a second window. So the windows are across from each other to get a cross breeze and suck hot air out. They're made out of 1/2 inch, or not 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch hardware cloth. And this is a scrap piece of plywood, and a 1x that I cut in half, ripped in half. And that's also what you're gonna screw from the inside out and use finish washers to attach your hardware cloth. And obviously your last complete piece of plywood is going to get cut and put on the front. And that's pretty much the coop. And the rest of this is I would totally do that different, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But yeah, this is I did mean to mention that on the bottoms of those 2x4s, either needs to be a concrete block or cinder block or something other to keep it up off the ground, so that it is pressure treated, but it'll still rot if it's in contact with the ground. That'll just save you money in the long run. Other than that, the plywood on the sides are held on by the 2-inch screws, and then the majority of the framework is screwed in with the 3-inch. And then the roof is going to be it's called 5V sheet metal roofing. And I believe it's going to take me 2 pieces because they're 8 foot long. Cut them in half and then you do 1, 2, 3. So I think I pulled this in for under $200 total cost. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'll tell you that much. And the chickens seem to love it, and it's secure with the hardware cloth and the siding screwed on with good wood screws. There ain't a raccoon in the nation that could get in this thing. Knock on wood. I've built them like this before and never had a chicken got while it was in the coop. It's just so hard to get in this thing, and most of the raccoons and weasels and stuff they don't have the strength to pull or push that that hardware cloth, and they're sure not going to rip the sides off of it. So, all right, we're at week 4, and that's my look at the chicken coop.